Police say stealing cars is now one of the most common crimes, specifically for juveniles in central Ohio in the last year. According to police reports, there have been almost 400 car thefts in the greater Columbus area just since January 1st.
In October 2022, I was able to purchase my first car on my own. I was 19 years old, I was a full-time college student. In my freshman and sophomore year of college, I was able to work part-time to save up the money to buy a car. I bought a 2018 Hyundai Tucson. I'm very proud of myself for being able to buy this car, and I really, really like the car. After a few months of driving the car, I had definitely, found a love for it. I really enjoyed my time with the car. It treated me well. So, come around March, I went outside one morning to get something out of my car, and it was not there. I'd been staying with a friend, so I was like, okay, maybe they moved the car. So I went upstairs and I asked them if they moved my car, and they said, no, I haven't touched your car. So then I was like, well, it's not there. So we went downstairs, and where I had parked the car the night before, there was shattered glass on the ground. So we immediately went back upstairs, we called the cops, and upon looking up my VIN and my license plate number, they realized that my car had been brought to the impound lot at 6 in the morning. At 5:30 in the morning, it had been towed for being in the middle of the road with a shattered back glass. So I called my mom, she came and got me, and we headed to the impound lot. After arriving at the impound lot, obviously there was glass all over my car. I had some nice things in my car, and surprisingly they didn't take them, but I've learned now that these are young kids. They're not looking for material things. They're just looking to be cool and steal your car. They tore apart my steering wheel column shift. This is how they steal the car. So they take it apart, they take your charger, they plug your USB and as if it's a key, and essentially it just starts the car. This is mainly to blame for why Kias and Hyundais are so easy, because they both have that same format. In January 2023 to September 2023, total in Columbus, there were 8,249 stolen vehicles. 4,196 of those alone were Kia and Hyundais. So that's just a perfect example of half of the stolen cars stolen in Columbus were Kia and Hyundais. So these are definitely the targeted cars.
My name is Colin McComb. I'm a junior here at Capital University, so I live in Bexley, Ohio, really familiar with the Columbus area. I've lived here for about 20 years now, just north of Columbus, about 30 minutes, so live in a suburb of the city and know a lot about the city as a whole. Over about a year or so ago, I lived in an old apartment complex down the street from where I live now, and there were a lot of difficulties and troubles with one of my neighbors, specifically having his car broken into, being one of the cars that was easy to break into with the security features implemented in the car. Yeah, so we were told majority of them were minors, so under the age of 18, and that they would really frequently do this because they knew they could get off the hook with what they were doing, and they were specifically targeting and were actually very successful at what they were doing. As unfortunate as it sounds, they were very good at stealing the cars. With them being minors and the legal system set up, they are allowed to do these things and get away with them, whereas a normal individual would get a grand theft auto charge or another similar felonious charge, which comes with a lot of jail time or heavy fines. These individuals kind of just get a smack on the hand and they say, don't do this again, we're going to talk to your parents, but then ultimately they're let back to what they were doing, and they keep doing this kind of in this terrible cycle. On top of just being concerned for other individuals and feeling badly for them and what's being done to them, I was also a little bit worried with having my car. I moved my car down there about halfway through the year and was always kind of worried, even with having a room that overlooked the parking lot where my car was parked. I was still always worried because I knew that they could strike at any moment, and when there were cars being broken into, I really had no clue. So just knowing that could be my car at any moment was really something that was unsettling. Yeah, it's a lot different when it's somebody that you know, and that when you see it from the outside, you feel badly for that person. But then I would say when it's somebody you know, or even if it were to be myself, it's like a whole another level of anger and just frustration about the idea that people are doing this. Really, in the grand scheme of things, there's nothing they're really getting out of it more than what they think to be fun, which obviously we don't see that as fun. But these individuals think it's something fun to do, but they don't really understand the complications and really the damage that's being done, both financially and emotionally, for those people who do work hard to pay for those cars. I think one of the biggest things is being able to put your car in an area that's well lit or has security around. That's the most obvious thing, but I know not all individuals can afford that or may not be fortunate enough to have that where they live. So I think other than that, implementing security systems, if your car is a Hyundai or a Kia, which are two of the models that, or the makes that are most frequently stolen, implementing kind of your own security system to make sure that your car isn't being tampered with. And then on top of that, I know a lot of people are using the club on the steering wheel, which kind of deters these individuals because they know it's a whole nother level of security they have to get through to do what they want to do. So I would say the club is the biggest, most cost-effective way to go about it. I know a lot of places will give you one for free, actually, if you go there and request it.
The number of cars being stolen in Columbus continues to rise at an alarming rate. Columbus police say the increase is being fueled by the thefts of Kias and Hyundais involving teens.
This map behind me here shows where 34 Hyundais and Kias were stolen or attempted stolen across Columbus just this past weekend. That's about 70% of all the car thefts. Again, this is just this weekend. The numbers for the whole year so far, much more troubling.
No way.
They clearly had no remorse and just were going on the ride of their life, really.
Rachel Ross says babysitting her nephew last week quickly turned into a search for her stolen car. Working with neighbors and police, Ross says they found this video on social media showing her car and others stolen from the same neighborhood being driven through Marion Village. Because they're minors, we've blurred their faces, but if you look closely, in one vehicle, one child is so small, their head is barely above the steering wheel.
Kids have figured out how to take bits and pieces off to steal your car.
According to Columbus police, car thefts and attempted thefts are up 65% compared to last year. But the problem is bigger for Kias and Hyundais. As we've reported, teens across the country are targeting those makes because they can be started and stolen using a simple USB plug. Thefts of those makes combined are up 447%. And attempted thefts up more than 14,000%.
Like, where's the accountability? And it's ruining people's lives. And it's causing hardships that don't need to be there.
Since June, when I got my car back, I've not had any issues with anybody bothering it. I do keep the club on my car, which works, but it's pretty inconvenient. When I get in, I have to take it off. When I get out, I have to remember to put it back on. The biggest hardship, I guess, of having my car stolen was obviously not having it for 3 months, financially being stressed, being upset that I had worked so hard to buy this car and somebody, busts a window, gets in it for 30 minutes and destroys your engine. Obviously is heartbreaking. The only hardship I face today with it is due to the theft, my insurance did drop me. They said that they would no longer insure me because I drive such a high theft rate vehicle. Obviously it's irritating that, these young kids are able to go around and, have 30 minutes of fun, but it costs you 3 months and, questioning if you should keep the car, get rid of the car, and causes my insurance rates to go up. This is the example of a club. This was $50 on Amazon. If you or anyone you know drives a Kia or a Hyundai and does not own one of these, please share my story, recommend that they buy one. They're not hard to find. And I really hope that in the coming weeks, days, months, local law enforcement can get these thieves under control.